Okay guys, we're here at Blue Jacket Archery. We're in a cool spring area. It's a Somerville address. I'm here with my good buddy Albert Moore. Today we're going to do a broadhead test here at his facility. We're going to be shooting through 3/4 piece of plywood on the front.
5/8.
I'm sorry, it's 5/8. I don't want to mislead anybody. It's 5/8 on the front.
Yeah.
And
2x4 frame.
2x4 frame
3/8 in the back.
by 3/8 in the back. So you got 2 layers that we're going to be shooting through. I think it's going to be a cool video. You guys stick with me here. We're going to get this going here in a sec.
Howdy, Albert Moore, Blue Jacket Archery here today, and my good buddy Chris Worthing is the cameraman today. So this video is going to be a little bit different. We have to stop periodically to readjust cameras and everything. But anyway, what we're going to do here today, we're going to do our season opener broadhead test here. We got 6 different broadheads we're going to test. First one is the B3 exoskeletal 2-inch cut. Then we have the G5 dead meat 1.5-inch cut 3-blade. Then we have the SWAT A4 4-blade 2-inch cut, or that could be 1.5 inch, well, 2-inch, whatever, it doesn't really matter what the cut is. Then we have the Rocket Meat Seeker 3-blade open and contact 2-inch cut. Keep in mind, folks, all these heads are open and contact mechanicals. All right. Then we have what we like to refer to as the biggest scam in the archery world, the Rage Hypodermic. Which, by the way, when I opened this package up, I run my thumbnail down that blade. Folks, I'm telling you, this head, I think they give those Chinese people that make this thing a brick to sharpen these things with. That is one of the dullest blades I've ever run my fingernail down. It feels like I'm running my fingernail down a doggone rat tail file. Now, then we also have the Rage 2-inch cut chisel tip, one of the original designs. All right. Now, so we got 6 heads here total. Of all these heads, there's only 2 here that are 100% American made. That's the B3 exoskeletal and the G5 dead meat. All those other heads are foreign made. The 2 Rages are coming out of China, and the Rocket Meat Seeker is coming out of Taiwan, which Taiwan, I can swallow that a little easier than the Chinese right now. Everybody that knows me knows what I think of that. Got a big problem with the Chinese right now considering what's going on in this nation, and so should every bow hunter out there. Stop buying Chinese product. I don't give a crap if it's any good or not. Stop supporting the Chinese. Now, this SWAT broadhead, this is the first time we've tested these heads. This head is veteran owned and veteran assembled. However, it's assembled only in the US. That means that the parts are coming from overseas. Where, we don't know. It could be coming out. It could be coming out of China. It could be coming out of Taiwan. We don't know. However, they do seem to be relatively sharp. So I'm impressed with that. But anyway, so now why are we doing this, people? Why do we do so many broadhead tests? We do a boatload of these things, especially in the past. Why do we do this? Well, this is the last-ditch effort to efficiently and humanely dispatch an animal that you are hunting. So we take this pretty serious. Now, why do we do all these tests, though? Why don't you just go out and buy a broadhead? Well, here's why. Folks, 60% of the broadheads on the market right now today could disappear and nobody would even miss them. The market is over-flooded with broadheads, and some of them work, some of them don't. But there's so much marketing garbage wrapped around these heads. People will make a broadhead such as this one. It performs less than stellar as far as everything we've tested it in, but they market this thing like it's the next best thing to sliced bread. People, you have to stop listening to the marketing ploys. You have to understand the marketing world. Whenever you see a company marketing a broadhead to the extent that they do, they pay professional shooters, they pay professional hunters, they market the dickens out of this head. Why is that bad? Because whenever it costs them a boatload of money to do that, a lot of money to market this thing. So where's that money coming from? It's usually taken out of research and development and in the manufacturing and construction process, which is usually that usually takes a back seat to this. And when you understand who owns Rage right now, a big investment group owns Rage right now. Most investment groups have a tendency to worry about this more than the quality of the product. So what we're trying to do is show you, and we are just sick and tired of watching these companies take advantage of people out there taking your hard-earned dollar all because of a good marketing campaign. All right? No, I would probably buy a Broadhead that doesn't have all that marketing around it, simply because you know those people aren't spending millions of dollars to market it. They're putting that back into research and development to come up with a little better product. So anyway, that's why we do this. So anyway, that said, I'm done with my rant now. The arrows we're using are Gold Tip Pro Hunter 340s. This arrow weighs 390 grains with feathers on it. The bow we're using is a new 2020 Martin ADX6, 60 pounds, 29-inch draw length. And this bow is shooting those 390 grain arrows right about 281 to 285. So we're going to say about 283 feet a second. And like Chris said earlier, we're shooting through 5/8 plywood. It's basically a 2x4 box is what I built. The face is 5/8 thick plywood, then there's a 1x4 frame around it, and then on the back side of the 1x4s is a piece of 3/8. Now the 3/8 probably won't come into play a lot. It could, but it's basically to slow stuff down so we're not out there in the jingweeds looking for our doggone arrows. So anyway, well, hey, that said, we're going to take a real short break here while we reset the cameras, and we'll be right back. Howdy, we're back after us resetting the cameras, so we're going to get on with the test here right now. The first one we're going to shoot is the Rage 2-inch cut chisel, the chisel tip. We're going to see if I can hit that plywood down there. Don't worry, if I miss, we won't edit it out. All right, the second one is the Rage Hypodermic 2-inch cut, which, by the way, I missed that first orange dot, so I'll try to do better. All right, third one is the Rocket Meat Seeker. Hitting a little low. All right, now the fourth one is the SWAT A4, the 4-blade head. The fifth one is the G5 Dead Meat. And the last one is the B3 Exoskeletal. Let's see how these American heads do here. All right, now we're going to walk up here and we're going to take a peek at what's going on. Cameraman has to grab the second camera, so I'll wait.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in real quick on the arrow.
We're not professional editors, folks, so bear with us.
I want to keep it rolling so no one can say we did this, we did that.
Right.
Okay. The bad thing is now I got to get this thing off the tripod with one hand. Okay, bear with me.
We're not shutting the cameras off, so you just got to bear with us.
Okay.
So it might look a little bit strange, but
yeah.
All right, now we're going to walk up here. And if any of those heads have come out through the back side of the 3/8, we're going to measure and see what's going on here.
I've got a GoPro set up behind it too. If anything's poking out, we're going to catch that.
I got a little bit mad there because my camera shut down and I chucked it out across the yard. So anyway, he's going to have to do some editing there. But anyhow, the only broadhead that came through this plywood was the B3 exoskeletal. The problem is I left all the blades somewhere else. So much for that crap. Now we got to get down inside of here to show you what the rest of them did. Okay, so can you get up in there?
Yeah.
And show them down in there?
Let me shut off this GoPro. It don't need to be running now. Get that turned off. Okay. Let's see how I can angle this. Oh yeah. Let me
come around this side, Chris.
Let me get up this. Get up this way.
Now, right down in here, the first one you see here, that red one, that's the Rage chisel tip, 2-inch cut. That one, from the looks of it, came in 1, 2, 3, about third or fourth place as far as depth of penetration. It's got about 1.5 inch arrow behind it. The Rage hypodermic didn't quite come in dead last.
That's this one.
Because this SWAT broadhead over here actually didn't penetrate worth a dang through this plywood
the
here.
ferrule's still sticking out.
You can still see it's the only one with the ferrule still sticking out behind it here. So that head's not very impressive at all. As far as we're concerned, you have to understand, folks, this 5/8 plywood is representing some heavy, thick bone on an animal, such as a moose, such as an elk, or even a thick shoulder blade on a big mule deer, whatever. And if these heads aren't going to make it through here, they're probably not going to make it through those heavy shoulders on an elk or a big mule deer, or heaven forbid you're dumb enough to go out for a grizzly bear with one of these heads, but whatever. The point is, that one didn't do so well. Had none of these heads made it through here, okay, fine, but they didn't. The Rage hypodermic and that SWAT were actually the worst too. All right, then let's see, the G5, then the Rocket Meat Seeker, which actually surprised me. I figured it'd blow clear through them. It always had in the past. Anyhow, the Rocket Meat Seeker, right here, you can see it. It didn't do too awfully bad. Consists of 3-blade 2-inch cut. Okay, it didn't quite make it to the second sheet. It did about the same as the Rage chisel tip. Now, then the second place winner here was going to be the G5 Dead Meat. It actually stuck into the offside piece of plywood, and actually, does it have the tip sticking out? Now the tip didn't quite make it through the second sheet of plywood, but boy, it didn't. It dang near did. Anyway, then of course the B3 exoskeletal made it clear through, but the problem is, folks, you left some of the blades somewhere else. Yeah. We don't know where they're at, probably out here in the yard. That means I'm gonna get a flat tire on the lawnmower. But anyway, yeah, so that, even though that B3 exoskeletal made it the whole way through, what good is it with no dang blades? You know, so anyway, probably our pick here is going to be that G5 Dead Meat. Now it is only 1.5 inch cut, but it is a 3-blade, where some of these other heads are 2 blades. The Rocket's a 3-blade. It's about 1 inch behind the G5 Dead Meat. So, and the dead meat's completely intact. Let me see if I can't get the sucker out of there. Yeah, see, it's completely intact. There's no bent blades. That one blade right there in the top might be slightly tweaked, but the fact is it held together. Now, why is it important for a head to hold together? Folks say, who cares if it goes clear through the animal with a blade missing? Well, let me tell you something. I'll tell you why holding that thing together is so critical. You got your hands inside that animal to field dress it. If you don't know where that blade's at in there, there's so doggone much blood all over the place when you do that chore anyway. You cut yourself on one of them razor sharp broadheads, you might not ever know it, and you could freaking bleed to death right there in the woods and never even know it's coming. All right, so that's why it's critical for those broadheads to hold together. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. If they say it's okay for a blade to break off, but you still get full penetration, that's just plain stupid. Absolutely stupid. That is extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. You want to know where all those blades are at before you stick your hand in that animal's chest cavity, or you could get seriously wounded, if not die. So that's why it's pretty critical why we want broadheads all sticking together, or you know, staying together. So we don't care if the blades are bent a little bit, but long as they're there to where we can find them. But anyway, well, you can see here, folks, the Rage didn't really surprise us any. we've always hated this head. It's pretty much a piece of junk. It doesn't penetrate worth a dang unless you got massive amounts of kinetic energy and heavy arrows. But then again, this swap broadhead didn't do any good either. However, the point is, the Rage has a lot more of a following than what the SWAT head does. That's kind of why we pick on the Rage. We just absolutely hate that head. My gosh, people, when you compare to what some of these other heads did, this Rage hypodermic and this SWAT head, my gosh, folks, I've had splinters go in my hand deeper than that. So, well, hey, that's it for today. I'll let you go, and we'll talk at you later. I'm Albert Moore from Blue Jacket Archery. Come on down that little cabin in the valley and see what hunters shoot. Until next time, folks, remember to like and share us on Facebook, and have a great day. Thank you for watching.
So there's a good representation of what we've got. Now let's go over again, Al, which ones were which.
Okay, this is the B3.
That was the B3.
Exoskeletal. That's the one that went clear through and left the blades somewhere else.
Yes.
All right, this is the, I don't know if I get that out of there or not. This is the SWAT 4-blade. Oh, no, I ain't gonna come out of there.
No.
And then this one here is the G5 dead meat. Matter of fact, I can probably.
And that's the one that did.
This is the one that did second. Actually, we're gonna have to say the G5 dead meat actually won, because it's the only one.
It held together.
Yeah, it's the only one that held together. The other ones all come apart, and it didn't go through as far as the exoskeletal, but gee whiz.
Yeah, but there wasn't any blades slowing it down.
Yeah, there wasn't any blades slowing it down. So we're actually going to put this G5 dead meat as the clear-cut winner in this case. If I can get it off of here.
Well, if you don't have blades attached, you're not cutting anything.
Yeah, you're not cutting nothing. So that little son of a gun, you can see this one blade right here is ever so slightly tweaked. Okay, but other than that, that little son of a gun did pretty stinking good.
Yeah.
And people say, well, it's not a 2-inch cut. Let me tell you something, people. If you need that extra ½ inch of cut to kill your animal, why don't you just go learn how to shoot a little better? I mean, come on, really? A ½ inch more cut, and that's what's getting your animal? I mean, come on, start thinking a little bit and practice and get a little bit more accurate, and don't take iffy, chancy shots. People say, well, I get nervous. Well, listen, you get nervous because deep down in, your confidence level isn't where it should be. If you practice all year round, go to some 3D shoots and shoot all the time to get your confidence level up, I guarantee you, your confidence level will be so high by the time you get to the season, anything 35 yards and under is no problem. It's going to be a dead meat, so to speak, like this,
like that,
dead meat. So anyway, now then this second one, this one here is the Rocket Meat Seeker.
It did pretty good.
It did pretty good too, considering that it is a 2-inch cut. Is that thing turning off of there? Yeah.
It's coming.
It is a 2-inch cut 3-blade, and where the dead meat's an 1.5 inch cut 3-blade.
I just wanted to see if we could show these things.
All right, the Rocket, no damage whatsoever.
Folds right back up.
Yeah, folds right back up. There's no bent blades, no nothing. I could put the rubber band back in that son of a gun, and it'd be perfectly fine for another test or whatever. It's kind of a little dull now. I just shoved it through the plywood,
right.
But no damage. No damage whatsoever. Yeah. And keep in mind now, folks, I'm shooting a 60-pound bow. If you're shooting more bow weight than that, that thing probably would have went clear through the second sheet also.
Yeah, kinetics. Yeah.
And then down here, we have the typical loser of the test. Matter of fact, right there's a rubber band off the Rocket.
Yep, still. All
right. Now, next down here is that Rage, like we said. I don't know if I can get that out of there or not. Nope, not going to get it out. Anyway,
the blades are stuck.
Yeah, the blades are stuck in the wood here.
They're there.
Another problem with that head that we discovered, the reason why it doesn't penetrate like some of the other ones, after much deliberation and looking at it and thinking and concentrating in the research, we've figured that the biggest detriment to that lack of penetration of this head are its own dang blades. They're not sharp, they stand up too straight. It's almost like trying to throw a brick through a deer. Myself, folks, to be honest with you, I wouldn't screw that dang Rage onto a stick and go frog gigging with it. Frogs even deserve a better death than that, than to be bludgeoned to death. This is the This is the Rage chisel tip down here. This essentially has the same blades as the hypodermic, so we're going to see if they're intact here. All right, let's get it out of here. Okay. Yeah, they're not bent or nothing. All right, I could actually fold that up and shoot that again if I replaced that collar. So that's not too bad. We have shot this head in the past and bent that ferrule and everything else. So I'm still not a Rage fan. For the money you got to pay for these things, I think it's one of the biggest scams in the archery market. But anyway, but hey, you know, it didn't do too bad.
No, it actually held for this time.
I believe if I was going to shoot a Rage, which heaven forbid, I'd have to leave the country. But I believe I'd shoot that one over the hypodermic if you got to have a Rage. But here's the thing, folks. There's other 2-inch cut mechanicals out there that outperform it easily. That Rocket Meat Seeker easily outperforms that Rage. My heavens.
And you got
easily
three cuts.
Does it.
You got 3 cuts.
And you got 3 blades cutting, 2-inch cut instead of 2. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of it. I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, brag on them arrows. You just shot them. You just shot these arrows through plywood.
Yeah, I just shot that gold tip. These are one tough son of a guns. These son of a guns are just some of the toughest arrows I've ever come across.
Hunter Pro 340.
Hunter Pro 340s. Now they make 3 different levels of these. They got the Hunter XT, and the Hunter Pro. They're all the same arrow. It's just the straightness tolerance and the consistencies of how they're made is what ups the price. I get a little nervous with that Hunter. It's a little bit inconsistent. The XTs aren't bad. The XTs are pretty good. That's probably their most popular arrow. The Hunter Pros are straighter than the XTs and more consistent in their spine and whatnot, but you're paying more for them. They're like 150, 160 bucks a dozen. Anyway, so that's a pretty good arrow. We've been using them for years. Very seldom do we break one. A deer can break it off if you don't get a pass through, but here again, folks, if you want to be guaranteed a complete pass through, especially at the lower bow weights like myself, use a fixed blade head like a G5 Striker, a Wasp drone. We're going to do it. We'll be doing a fixed blade test here too shortly. But anyhow, matter of fact, we just might do that
today.
Just
do that on this bottom.
We'll just do that right here.
We got a blank spot.
So anyway, for right now, folks, we're going to let you go and stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and do a fixed blade test here today too with a couple of heads. So anyway, hey, I'm Albert Moore from Blue Jacket Archery. I already did the closing amenities earlier. Talk to you later. Thank you.
There you have it. Stay tuned. Part 2 is going to be some fixed blades coming up.